You've been holding it together for so long, you've forgotten what it feels like to let go. On the outside, you're functioning. You show up. You answer the texts. You smile when you're supposed to smile. You say, "I'm fine," so often it's become automatic. A reflex, not a truth. Nobody at work knows. Nobody in your circle knows. You've become skilled at looking okay, while carrying a weight that never seems to lift. You've learned how to perform normal. You've learned how to deflect questions. You've learned how to change the subject when someone gets too close to the truth. And you've done it so well, for so long, that nobody thinks to ask if you're really okay anymore. But on the inside, something is wearing thin. Maybe it's grief you never fully processed. Not the fresh grief that everyone understands, the kind that brings casseroles and sympathy cards and people checking in. No, this is the old grief. The grief that's supposed to be over by now. The loss that still catches you off guard on random Tuesday afternoons. A song that comes on in the grocery store. A smell that transports you back. A memory that hits you like it just happened yesterday. You thought you'd be past this by now. You thought you'd be stronger by now. And there's a shame in still hurting, isn't there? A voice that says, other people have been through worse. Other people have moved on. Why can't you? Maybe it's a relationship that broke you in ways you're still trying to understand. Someone you trusted completely. Someone you gave your heart to without reservation. A friend, a spouse, a family member, a mentor. And they betrayed that trust in a way that changed something inside you. Words were spoken that can't be taken back. Actions were taken that can't be undone. And now there's a part of you that stays guarded. Not because you want to be cold, not because you want to push people away, but because you're not sure you can survive being hurt like that again. You've built walls. You know you've built walls. But the thought of letting them down feels like standing naked in a storm with no shelter. Maybe it's just the slow, grinding exhaustion of a hard season that won't seem to end. Not one big tragedy, not one dramatic crisis. Just day after day after day of pressure that never relents. The financial strain that keeps you up at night. The numbers you run and rerun in your head at 2 a.m. that never quite add up. The health diagnosis that changed everything, and the daily management of it that nobody sees. The medications, the appointments, the energy it takes just to function. The child you're worried about, the one who's struggling and you don't know how to help. The one who's making choices that scare you. The one you pray for, with tears you never show anyone else. The marriage that feels more like surviving than thriving. Two people sharing a house, but not sharing their hearts. Coexisting instead of connecting. And the distance between you growing wider every month. The loneliness that settles in even when you're surrounded by people. Perhaps especially when you're surrounded by people, because being lonely in a crowd is somehow worse than being lonely alone. You've been praying. You've been reading your Bible. You've been doing all the things you're supposed to do. You show up at church. You sing the songs. You raise your hands when everyone else does. You say amen at the right moments. But somewhere along the way, your soul got tired. Not just your body, though your body is tired too. Your soul, the deepest part of you. The part that hopes and dreams and believes. The part that was made for joy and wonder and childlike faith. It's become weary, worn down, maybe even a little numb. And here's the quiet fear you don't say out loud. You're not sure it will ever feel alive again. You're not sure the fire will ever come back. You're not sure you'll ever wake up excited about the day ahead, or go to sleep with peace instead of dread, or pray with the kind of faith that actually expects God to answer. Something in you has gone dim, and you're afraid it's permanent. You didn't find this video by accident. You're here because the shepherd himself is looking for you in this valley. You're here because something inside you, something that hasn't completely gone out, something that's still flickering, even if barely, is longing for restoration. Not just a quick fix. Not just a motivational quote you'll scroll past and forget. Not just another Sunday sermon that gives you 3 practical steps and sends you home unchanged. You're longing for the shepherd to find you in this valley. This specific valley, with its specific shadows, its specific loneliness, its specific pain, and lead you back to still waters. You're longing for your soul to feel alive again. You're longing for the part of you that's been dead to come back to life. This prayer was written for exactly that. Before another minute passes, you're going to bring every broken piece, even the ones you've been hiding, especially the ones you've been hiding, every hidden ache, Every tear you've held back in the car or in the shower or into your pillow at night. Every disappointment you've been too embarrassed to name. Every prayer you stopped praying because the silence felt like rejection. And lay it at the feet of the one who promised to restore your soul. Not because you're eloquent enough, not because your faith is strong enough, but because He is faithful. And He finishes what He starts. So take a slow breath. Let your shoulders drop. Really drop them. Let your jaw unclench. Let your hands open in your lap. You've been gripping so tightly for so long, and your hands are tired. You don't have to carry this alone anymore. And let's begin. Before we pray, let me read something over you. Words that have been spoken over hospital beds and gravesides. Words whispered in foxholes and prison cells. Words sung in cathedrals with towering ceilings and stained glass. And words cried out in the darkest hours of the night, from bedrooms just like yours. Words that have been carried by grieving widows and terrified soldiers and weary parents and broken-hearted teenagers for 3,000 years. These are not just ancient poetry. They are not just beautiful literature. They are living promises, and they are for you, right now, in this season, in this ache, in this weariness. Psalm 23 was written by David, a shepherd who became a king. But long before he wore a crown, David spent years running for his life, hiding in caves with nothing but stone walls and shadows for company, betrayed by people he trusted with his life, hunted by a king who wanted him dead, a king he had served faithfully, a king whose music he had played to soothe tormented nights. David knew what it felt like to be exhausted beyond words. He knew what it felt like to be alone in a way that no amount of company could fix. He knew what it felt like to be broken-hearted and unsure if he would survive the next day, let alone the next year. And out of that wilderness, out of those caves and those tears and those sleepless nights, he wrote these words, not from a palace, not from comfort, not from a life that had gone smoothly, from the wilderness, from the valley, from the place where he had nothing left but God. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Notice the word David chose, my, not a shepherd, not the shepherd for everyone else, for the people who have it together, for the ones who pray enough and believe enough and never struggle with doubt, for the ones whose lives look like a highlight reel on Instagram. My shepherd, personal, intimate, specific, yours. This is not a distant God who rules the universe, but can't be bothered with your pain. This is not a theoretical God who exists in textbooks and systematic theologies, but doesn't know your name. This is a shepherd who knows his sheep by name, a shepherd who leaves the 99 safe in the fold, to go searching through the darkness for the one who is lost, the one who is hurt, the one who is wandering, a shepherd who carries the weary lamb on his shoulders when it can no longer walk. And because he is your shepherd, because he has claimed you, named you, and committed himself to you, you shall not want. Not that you won't experience need. David certainly did. He spent years in desperate, grinding, terrifying want. He knew what it meant to be hungry. He knew what it meant to be hunted. He knew what it meant to be homeless. You shall not want is not a promise that you will never lack anything. It's a promise that your deepest needs, the needs of your soul, the needs that really matter, the needs that keep you alive at the core of who you are, will be met by the one who knows you completely and loves you perfectly. You may lack comfort, you may lack answers, you may lack resolution, but you will not lack a shepherd, and the shepherd is enough. He makes me lie down in green pastures. I love this phrase. I love it because it reveals something about us that we don't like to admit. He makes me lie down. Not, he gently invites me to consider resting. Not, he provides a brochure about the benefits of lying down. He makes me, because sometimes the shepherd has to make us stop. Left to ourselves, we won't do it. We will keep running on fumes. We will keep pushing past every warning light. We will keep performing and producing and pretending until we collapse. We are terrible at resting. We are addicted to doing. We measure our worth by our output. And so, in his mercy, in his stubborn, pursuing, unrelenting mercy, the shepherd brings us to a place where we have no choice but to lie down and let him restore us. The hospital bed, the layoff, the closed door, the season of forced stillness that felt like punishment but was actually providence. He makes you lie down, not to hurt you, not to abandon you, to heal you, to restore you, to give you what you would never give yourself. He leads me beside still waters. Still waters. Not raging rapids, not crashing waves, not chaos, not noise, not one more demand, one more crisis, one more fire to put out. Stillness, quiet, peace. The kind of quiet where healing can actually begin. The kind of quiet where you can finally hear your own thoughts. And more importantly, hear his voice. The kind of quiet where the anxious inner monologue that's been running on a loop for months finally, mercifully, slows down. Your shepherd is not leading you into more chaos. He's not leading you into more noise. He's leading you to still waters, to the place where your racing heart can finally settle, to the place where the endless to-do list stops screaming for your attention, to the place where you can breathe again. He restores my soul. There it is, the center of everything. The promise that everything else in this psalm is building toward. He restores my soul. The Hebrew word here carries the idea of bringing something back to its original state, repaired, renewed, made whole again. It's the same word used when a broken wall is rebuilt, when a ruined city is restored, when something damaged is put back the way it was always meant to be. Whatever this season has taken from you, your joy, your peace, your hope, your ability to trust, your sense of purpose, your belief that God is good and that He has good plans for you. He is able to restore it. He is not just able, He is willing, He is eager. This is what He does. This is who He is. The God who restores souls. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. This is not a promise that you will avoid the valley. This is not a prosperity gospel that says Christians don't suffer, Christians don't grieve. Christians don't walk through darkness. David walked through the valley. You will walk through valleys. You have walked through valleys. You may be in one right now. The question is not whether the valley comes. The question is who walks through it with you. And here is the promise. The shepherd doesn't stand at the edge of the valley and wave. He doesn't shout encouragement from the mountaintop and wait for you on the other side. He walks through the valley with you, every dark step, every tear, every moment you thought you couldn't go any further and couldn't bear one more. He was there. He is there. He will be there. The valley is real. The pain is real. The shadow is real. But the shepherd is more real. And He is with you. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. The rod was for protection, the weapon the shepherd used to fight off predators, wolves, lions, bears, the enemies that wanted to destroy the sheep. The staff was for guidance, the long curved hook that gently, patiently, faithfully pulls the wandering sheep back when it starts to drift toward danger. Protection and guidance, both are yours, even when you don't feel them, even when the valley feels endless and the predators feel close and you can't see the way out. Your shepherd has a rod, and he is not afraid to use it on your behalf. Your shepherd has a staff, and he will not let you wander into destruction. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. This is audacious. This is almost offensive in its confidence. A feast, a banquet, a table set with abundance and celebration. And where is it set? Right in front of the enemies. Right in front of the things that wanted to destroy you. The fear, the shame, the addiction, the depression, the person who betrayed you, the diagnosis that tried to steal your future, the failure that tried to define your identity. They are still there, but they are not at the table. They are watching from outside, and you, the one they tried to destroy, you are feasting. Your shepherd doesn't just rescue you. He restores your dignity. He proves that the enemy did not win. You anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows. Oil was used for healing, poured into wounds, bringing relief and restoration. Oil was used for refreshment. In a dry, dusty climate, oil on the skin was a gift of renewal. Oil was used for honor. You anointed a guest you welcomed, a guest you cherished. You are not tolerated. You are not barely accepted. You are not on probation. You are welcomed, honored, cherished, anointed, and your cup doesn't just have enough. It doesn't just meet the minimum. It doesn't require you to be careful and conservative with your sips because there might not be more. Your cup overflows. Abundance, excess, more than you need. Not because you earned it, not because your faith is impressive, because your shepherd is generous. because your shepherd gives gifts that are out of proportion to anything you could deserve or repay. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Not might follow, not could follow if everything works out perfectly and you pray the right prayers and never have a bad day. Surely, certainly, without question, without exception, goodness and mercy are chasing you down every day, even the hard ones, even the ones where you can't feel them, even the ones where you wonder if God has forgotten your address. They are behind you, ahead of you, surrounding you, and you shall dwell in the house of the Lord, not just someday in heaven, but now, today, in this moment, in this valley, because His presence is your home and His nearness is your dwelling place. This is the shepherd you're about to speak to, the one who restores souls, the one who walks through valleys, the one who anoints with oil and fills cups until they overflow, the one who has not forgotten you and will not abandon you and is not finished with you yet. Let's pray. Before we begin, if these prayers are ministering to you, if they're meeting you in the places you've been struggling alone, places you haven't known how to bring to anyone else, I want to invite you to subscribe to this channel. We're building a sanctuary here, a space set apart, a place where you can come exactly as you are, no performance, no pretending, no Sunday morning mask, and encounter the God who restores souls. Hit subscribe so you don't miss what's coming. Now, get comfortable. Let your body settle fully into the surface beneath you. Let your breathing slow down, not forced, not controlled, just natural. Let your jaw soften. You've been clenching it without even noticing. Let your hands rest open in your lap. You don't need to hold on so tightly anymore. Let your eyes close if that helps you focus, or keep them open if you need to. There's no right way to be here. There's just you and your shepherd. And let's pray. Father, I come to you now in the name of Jesus, not with perfect words, not with a heart that has it all sorted out, not pretending to be stronger than I am, or more faithful than I am, or more together than I am. I come to you as the sheep comes to the shepherd, needing guidance, needing protection, needing rest, and desperately, deeply, urgently needing restoration. Lord, you are my shepherd, not a distant shepherd who overlooks the struggling sheep because there are more impressive ones to attend to, not a frustrated shepherd who rolls his eyes at the wandering one and says, "That one again. I've already rescued her 3 times this week." Not a shepherd who loses patience with the slow sheep who can't seem to learn the lesson. My shepherd, the one who knows my voice, the one who knows my name, not just the name everyone else calls me, but the name you gave me, the identity only you fully know, the one who leaves the 99 safe and comfortable and accounted for to go searching through the darkness and the thorns and the danger for the one who is lost, the one who carries me when I'm too weak to walk. And I am too weak to walk tonight. I am too tired to pretend I'm not tired. I am too broken to pretend I'm whole. So I let myself be carried. And because you are my shepherd, I confess to you tonight, honestly, openly, without the filter I put on for everyone else, that I am weary. I am weary in ways that sleep doesn't fix. I can sleep 8 hours, 10 hours, and wake up just as tired as when I lay down. This is not the kind of tired that a good night's rest solves. This is not the kind of tired that a weekend away, or a vacation, or a self-care routine can touch. This is a soul-level exhaustion, a deep tissue weariness, the kind that comes from carrying heavy things for too long, not hours or days, but months and years. Grief I've tried to push through without actually letting myself mourn. Pain I've tried to outrun without actually letting myself feel. Disappointment I've tried to spiritualize without actually bringing it honestly to you. You see it all. Every weight I've been carrying, every burden I've been pretending isn't there, every wound I've been hiding because I don't want anyone to know how much it still affects me, every prayer I've stopped praying because the silence felt too painful, every hope I've been afraid to voice because I'm scared of being disappointed again. Every night I've lain awake staring at the ceiling, running through the same worried thoughts, trying to figure out a way forward that I can't see. Every morning I've woken up already exhausted before my feet touch the floor. You've seen it all. Nothing escapes you. Nothing surprises you. Nothing makes you wish you had chosen a different sheep. and you don't shrink back from what you see. This is what I need to know tonight, to really know, deep in my bones. Not just as a concept, but as a reality. You don't roll your eyes at my slowness. You don't sigh at my weakness. You don't compare me unfavorably to stronger, more faithful believers who seem to handle trials better than I do. You don't keep a record of how many times I've prayed this same prayer and still ended up back in the same valley. You draw near. You lean in. You welcome me. You say, "Come to me, all you who are weary and heavy laden, and I will give you rest." So I come. Not when I've got my act together, not when I'm more presentable, not when I've figured out all the answers. Right now, as I am, weary, heavy laden, broken in places I don't even have words for, and I receive what only you can give. Lord, make me lie down in green pastures, because I have forgotten how to stop. I have forgotten what rest feels like, real rest, the kind that restores, the kind that isn't just collapsing in front of a screen at the end of a long day, but actually receiving from you. I have been running on empty for so long I don't remember what full feels like. I have been surviving, coping, managing, holding it together with sheer willpower and caffeine, and the fear that if I stop for even a moment, everything will fall apart. I have been measuring my worth by my output, my productivity, my ability to keep going when everyone else would have quit. And somewhere along the way, I forgot that rest is not a reward for finishing everything on my list. Rest is not something I have to earn. Rest is a gift, and you are the giver. So right now, I stop. I stop striving. I stop performing. I stop pretending I'm stronger than I am. I stop trying to earn what you freely give. I stop scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, looking for something that will make me feel less empty for 5 minutes. I stop. I lie down, not just my body, though my body needs it desperately. My soul. The part of me that has been in motion for so long it doesn't remember what stillness feels like. I let it sink into the green pasture of your presence. I let it rest in the safety of your care. I let it be held by the shepherd who doesn't sleep, doesn't look away, doesn't get distracted. I am safe here. I don't have to keep watch. I don't have to guard myself. The shepherd is guarding me. Lead me beside still waters, Lord. My mind has been noisy for too long. The anxious thoughts that never fully go away, they just change targets. The replaying of conversations I can't redo. The rehearsing of worst-case scenarios that haven't happened and probably won't happen, but my mind wants to be prepared, just in case. The constant low hum of worry that buzzes beneath everything I do, like an appliance I've learned to ignore, but that never actually turns off. The inner critic. The voice of condemnation, the memory of words spoken over me. Criticisms, rejections, dismissals, that still echo long after the person who said them has moved on with their life. The fear about the future, all the things that could go wrong, all the ways things could fall apart, all the scenarios I can't control, no matter how many times I mentally rehearse them. The regret about the past, the decisions I wish I could undo, the words I wish I could take back, the roads I wish I had never walked down. The noise, Lord, it is exhausting. It is wearing grooves in my brain the way water wears grooves in stone, and I am so tired of it. Lead me to the still waters, not the waters that look calm on the surface, but hide violent currents beneath. The truly still waters, the waters that reflect your face without distortion, the waters where the only voice that matters is yours. Quiet the chaos in my mind, still the storm in my thoughts. I can't do it myself. I've tried meditation apps and breathing exercises and positive thinking and keeping busy enough to drown out the noise. Nothing works for long. Only you can quiet what only you can see. Let the peace that passes all understanding, the peace that doesn't make sense, the peace that exists independent of circumstances, the peace that is not the absence of trouble, but the presence of God, settle over my racing heart like a blanket. Not peace that depends on everything working out, peace that depends on you. And you are here. You have always been here, and you will always be here. And now, Lord, restore my soul. This is what I need more than anything else tonight. More than answers to my questions, though I have so many. More than resolution to my problems, though they are real and heavy. More than the circumstances to change, though I desperately want them to. More than a sign, more than a breakthrough, more than an explanation. I need my soul restored. the part of me that was made in your image and has been battered and bruised and beaten down, the part of me that was made for joy and has been running on sorrow, the part of me that was made for hope and has been surviving on cynicism, the part of me that was made for faith and has been getting by on sight. Restore the parts of me that grief has hollowed out, the empty chair at the table, the voice I can no longer hear. And some days I strain my memory trying to remember exactly how it sounded, terrified of forgetting. The future I thought I would have, the future that included them, that was taken from me without warning and without my consent. The loss that still catches me off guard on ordinary days, when I'm not prepared for it, when I've let my guard down, when I think I'm finally doing okay, and then suddenly I'm not. The grief that doesn't follow a schedule, and doesn't respect timelines, and doesn't care that it's been months or years, and people expect me to be over it by now. Lord, you know that grief is not linear. It ambushes. It shows up uninvited. It sits down at the table without asking permission. And some days, even now, even after all this time, it still feels as raw as the day it happened. Restore what grief has stolen. Not by removing the memory. I don't want to forget them. I would never want to forget them. Forgetting would be another loss layered on top of the first one. But by healing the ache it left behind, let the love I shared with the one I lost, and I did love them, deeply, truly, completely, become a source of comfort rather than only pain. Let the gratitude that I had them at all, gradually, slowly, gently, replace some of the anguish that I lost them. Let their memory become less like an open wound and more like a scar. Still there, still visible, still part of my story, but no longer bleeding. There is a hollow space in my chest where there used to be, Lord, and I am asking you, I am trusting you to fill it with your presence, not to erase them, to companion me in their absence. Restore the parts of me that betrayal shattered, the trust I gave freely, openly, without reservation, and it was broken. The relationship I invested years of my life in, and it was discarded like it meant nothing. The words that were spoken, accusations I never saw coming, judgments I never deserved, assessments of my character that made me question everything I thought I knew about myself. The way I've built walls since then. I know I've built them, I can see them, but letting people in feels genuinely dangerous now. Vulnerability feels like handing someone a weapon and hoping they don't use it. And I've been stabbed enough times to know how that story ends. Lord, I don't want to live guarded forever. I don't want to become bitter. I don't want to let one person's cruelty, or two people's, or however many, become the reason I stop loving, stop trusting, stop opening my heart to the people you bring into my life. I don't want to punish future relationships for the sins of past ones, but I need your help. I can't just decide to trust again. I can't just flip a switch and pretend the wound isn't there. I need you to heal it. I need you to walk me through the slow, patient, terrifying process of letting people back in. Not foolishly. I'm not asking to be naive. Not blindly. I'm not asking to ignore red flags, but openly, willingly, courageously. Restore my capacity to trust. Restore my capacity to love without a pre-planned escape route. Restore my belief that not everyone will leave. Not everyone will betray. Not everyone will use what I tell them against me. Restore the parts of me that constant pressure has worn thin. The financial strain that never seems to ease, no matter how carefully I budget, no matter how many hours I work, no matter how many corners I cut. The numbers never quite add up, and the anxiety never quite goes away. The job that demands more than I have to give, more hours, more energy, more emotional bandwidth, and gives back less than I need to survive. The bills that stack up faster than the paychecks, the unexpected expenses that seem to arrive at the worst possible moments, the weight of providing for people who depend on me when I feel like I'm falling apart inside. The pressure, Lord, it doesn't let up. It's there when I wake up, and it's there when I go to sleep, and it's there in the middle of the night when I should be resting, but instead, running numbers in my head for the 100th time. You are my provider. You are Jehovah Jireh, the God who sees, the God who provides. I need you to show up in the practical, tangible, pressing needs of my life. I need you to make a way where there doesn't seem to be a way. I need you to open doors I can't see and close doors that would harm me. I need you to give me wisdom with the resources I have and supernatural provision for what I lack. Restore my hope when the numbers don't add up. Restore my peace when the pressure feels unbearable. Restore my confidence that you see, you really see, and you know, and you care, and you will not abandon me to figure it out alone. Restore the parts of me that disappointment has made cynical. The prayers I've prayed, real prayers, desperate prayers, tear-soaked prayers, that still seem unanswered. The promises I've stood on, your promises from your word, claimed in faith, that haven't materialized yet. The years of waiting that have made my heart grow tired. The hope deferred that has made my heart sick. The things I believed you for that didn't happen, or at least haven't happened yet. And I don't know how to reconcile that with what I believe about your goodness. Lord, I confess that I have stopped expecting good things. It's easier this way. If I don't get my hopes up, I can't be disappointed. If I expect the worst, I'm never caught off guard. If I keep my expectations low, I'm never crushed when they're not met. But this is not faith. This is self-protection masquerading as wisdom. This is cynicism pretending to be maturity. And it is slowly starving my soul of the hope it was made to live on. Restore my hope, not the shallow, naive hope that thinks nothing bad will ever happen. The deep, tested, battle-scarred hope that knows trouble will come, has come, is coming, and believes that you are still good, and still working, and still faithful. Restore my ability to believe that you have good plans for me. Plans to prosper me and not to harm me. Plans to give me hope and a future, even when the evidence feels thin, even when the wait has been long, even when the disappointment has piled up year after year, even when I can't see how the story could possibly have a happy ending. Restore my childlike trust in a Father who always keeps his promises, even when the fulfillment takes longer than I expected, looks different than I imagined. Restore the parts of me that burnout has numbed. The passion I used to have for my work, for my calling, for the things that used to make me come alive, the joy I used to feel, simple, unforced, natural joy that didn't require effort to access, the ability to wake up excited about the day ahead instead of dreading it before my eyes are even open. Somewhere along the way, the color drained out of life. Not all at once, gradually, almost imperceptibly, so I didn't notice it happening until everything was gray. Going through the motions, checking the boxes, doing what needs to be done without any sense of delight or purpose or energy, smiling when I'm supposed to smile, laughing when I'm supposed to laugh, but not feeling it, not really. The joy, the deep, authentic, soul-level joy, has been missing for longer than I want to admit. Restore my joy, Lord, not a fake positivity that ignores the hard things and pretends everything is fine. Not a performative happiness that looks good in photographs, but evaporates the moment nobody's watching. A deep, rooted, unshakable joy that exists alongside the sorrow, not replacing it, but coexisting with it. A joy that is anchored in you, not in my circumstances, because my circumstances have been hard, and they might stay hard for a while. But you are unchanging, you are faithful, you are the source of joy that doesn't depend on everything going my way. Restore that. Reignite that. Breathe life back into the parts of me that have gone cold and still and silent. Lord, even when I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, and I have walked through valleys that felt that dark, valleys where I wasn't sure I would make it out, valleys where the shadow was so thick I couldn't see my own hand in front of my face, I will fear no evil. Not because I'm strong, not because I'm brave, not because I've figured out the secret to unshakable faith, but because you are with me. You were with me in the hospital waiting room when the news was bad. The worst news. The news I had been dreading. The news that changed everything in a single sentence. You were with me at the graveside when the grief was so heavy I couldn't stand up straight. You were with me in the divorce that I never wanted and never saw coming. You were with me in the bankruptcy, in the diagnosis, in the addiction that nearly destroyed me, in the mental health crisis that made me feel like I was losing my mind, in the dark night of the soul, when I wasn't sure I wanted to keep going, and the only thing that stopped me was not wanting to hurt the people who love me. You were there. You didn't leave. You didn't look away. You didn't take a break from being God. You walked through every single second of it with me, even when I couldn't feel you, even when I was angry at you, even when I was certain you had abandoned me. You were there. The evidence of your faithfulness is written across the most painful chapters of my story. And you will continue to walk with me through whatever valley comes next, because you don't change. Because your love doesn't expire. Because the shepherd who was faithful in the last valley will be faithful in the next one. Your rod, your protection, fights off the enemy that wants to destroy me. The enemy of my peace who whispers that I'll never be free from this anxiety. The enemy of my joy who insists I'll never feel truly happy again. The enemy of my purpose who tells me I've wasted my life and it's too late to start over. The enemy who accuses me night and day, rehearsing every failure and every sin and every mistake, trying to convince me that I am disqualified from your love. Your rod drives him back. Every time, he cannot stand against the shepherd. He cannot snatch me from your hand. He has to flee when you move toward me. Your staff, your guidance, gently pulls me back when I wander toward danger. When I reach for things that will hurt me in the name of numbing the pain. When I believe lies that will imprison me because the truth feels too hard to hold on to. When I make choices driven by fear instead of faith, by panic instead of peace, by desperation instead of trust. Your staff corrects me, not with anger, not with impatience, not with contempt, gently, faithfully, lovingly, like a shepherd who knows that the sheep is not rebellious, just scared, just confused, just exhausted, and you guide me back to the path. Every time I wander, every time I lose my way, you don't give up. You don't write me off. You guide me back. And now, Lord, this is the part that takes my breath away. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You don't just rescue me and leave me gasping on the shore, grateful to be alive, but still traumatized by the shipwreck. You honor me. You seat me at a table. You set a feast before me. Abundance, not scraps, not just barely enough to survive, not the minimum required to keep me from starving, a table overflowing with goodness. You prepare it, you do the work, you set the table, you cook the meal, you pull out the chair, and you set it right in front of everything that tried to destroy me. The fear that has hounded me for years, it stands at the edge of the room and watches me feast. The anxiety that has stolen countless nights of sleep, it sits in the corner and watches me rest. The shame that told me I was too dirty, too broken, too far gone to ever be welcomed, it stays outside the door and watches me be embraced at the table. The addiction that nearly destroyed my life, it watches me walk in freedom it said I would never taste. The depression that convinced me the light would never come back, it watches me sit in the warmth of your presence and wonders how it lost. The enemy himself, the accuser, the father of lies, the one who has been trying to destroy me since the day I was born, he has to stand silently and watch the one he thought he had defeated, being honored, being fed, being loved at a table he cannot touch. I am not a beggar at your feast. I am not standing outside the door hoping for crumbs. I am an honored guest, a son, a daughter, welcomed, wanted, celebrated, not because of anything I did, because of who you are. Because the shepherd doesn't just rescue the sheep, he brings the sheep home and throws a party. You anoint my head with oil, oil for healing. Lord, touch the wounds that still ache, even the ones I'm embarrassed to still be struggling with, the ones I thought would be healed by now, the ones I've stopped talking about because people are tired of hearing about them, and honestly, I'm tired of still having them, the ones that are old enough that they should be scars by now, but somehow they're still bleeding. Pour your healing oil over every tender place, every scar, every memory that still makes me flinch, every trauma that rewired my brain and changed how I see the world, every broken relationship that I don't know how to fix or don't know if I should fix, every regret that still whispers to me at 2 a.m., every failure that still defines how I see myself. Let your oil bring healing where nothing else has worked. Not therapy, not medication, not time, not distraction. The kind of healing that only the great physician can bring. Oil for refreshment. I am poured out, Lord, empty, depleted, like a cup that has been tipped over, and everything has drained out, and now there's nothing left. I have given and given and given. To my family, to my job, to my church, to my friends, to everyone who needs something from me. And I have received very little back. The tank is empty. The well is dry. I have nothing left to give, and I feel guilty about it because I think I should have more. Pour fresh oil over me. Refill what has been drained. Renew what has been exhausted. Replenish what has been depleted. I cannot keep going on empty. And you don't ask me to. Oil for honor, set apart for your purposes. Chosen, called, even in my brokenness, maybe especially in my brokenness, because you have always used broken people, even in my weariness, because your power is made perfect in weakness, not in strength. Even in this season, where I feel like I have nothing to offer and nothing to contribute and no energy to serve, you still call me yours. You still have a purpose for my life. You still have plans that have not been derailed by my failures or my circumstances. You still look at me and see someone worth anointing, not because I'm impressive, because you chose me, because you love me, because I am yours. My cup overflows. Not because I've earned abundance, not because my faith is so impressive that you had to reward it, not because my prayers are eloquent enough, or consistent enough, or holy enough, because you are a God of abundance, because you are a God who gives more than enough, because you are a God who doesn't measure out blessings in careful teaspoons, worried the supply might run out, but pours them out in rushing, overwhelming, unstoppable streams. My cup overflows with mercy, new every morning, not because I deserve new mercy, but because you are merciful, sufficient for every failure, every stumble, every relapse. Every time I went back to the thing I swore I was done with, my cup overflows with grace, unearned, undeserved, unrepayable. Grace that doesn't just forgive my past, but empowers my future. Grace that doesn't just cover my sin, but transforms my heart. Grace that meets me where I am, but refuses to leave me there. My cup overflows with love, not a love that depends on my performance today, but a love that chose me before the foundation of the world. A love that will not let me go no matter how many times I try to wander away. A love that nothing in all creation, not death, not life, not angels, not demons, not the present, not the future, not any powers, not height, not depth, not anything else in all creation can separate me from. My cup overflows with peace, not as the world gives, not the temporary peace that comes from circumstances lining up, but your peace, the peace that remains even in the storm, the peace that Jesus left as his parting gift. Peace I leave with you, my peace I give to you. I do not give as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled, and do not be afraid. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, not some days, not the good days when everything is going well and my faith feels strong and the prayers are flowing easily, not the days when I feel worthy of being followed by goodness and mercy. All the days, every single one, the hard days, the sad days, the confusing days, the days when I can't feel you no matter how hard I try, the days when my prayers feel like they're bouncing off the ceiling and coming back empty, the days when I wonder if you've forgotten me, or worse, if you've given up on me, the days when I can barely get out of bed, the days when I snap at the people I love because I'm running on fumes, the days when I'm not proud of who I am. Even then, even today, goodness and mercy are following me, not waiting for me to catch up, not standing at a distance hoping I'll turn around, chasing me, pursuing me, tracking me down like a hound of heaven that will not stop until it catches its prey. I may not always see them, I may not always feel them, I may go through seasons where I'm convinced they've given up and gone home, but they are there, constant, certain, faithful as the shepherd who sent them, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever, not just when I die and go to heaven, though that promise is glorious, and I hold on to it with everything I have, but now, today, in this moment, in this valley, in this weariness, in this brokenness, I dwell in your house. Your presence is my home. Your nearness is my dwelling place. Your heart is my refuge. I don't have to wait until I'm perfect to live in your house. I don't have to wait until I'm healed to come inside. I don't have to wait until the valley is behind me to dwell with you. I dwell with you in the valley. The valley itself becomes holy ground because you are here. The valley is not my home. The grief is not my home. The exhaustion is not my home. The disappointment is not my home. The wilderness is not my destination. It is a passage, and I am passing through it, with the shepherd leading me every step of the way. Every step. The ones I've already taken, and the ones still ahead. The shepherd is leading. The shepherd is protecting. The shepherd is restoring. And I am safe, not because the valley isn't dangerous, but because the shepherd is more powerful than anything in the valley. Father, I thank you that I am not alone, that I have never been alone, Even when I felt completely abandoned, even when the silence was deafening, even when I screamed into the void and heard nothing back, I was never alone. You were there. You have always been there, and you always will be. I thank you that restoration is not just a theological concept or a worship song lyric. It is a promise, an active, present tense, in-process reality. You are restoring my soul. Not, you will restore my soul someday when I get my act together. Not, you might restore my soul if I pray hard enough and believe perfectly. You are restoring my soul, right now, in this moment, while I'm still a mess, while I'm still struggling, while I'm still in the middle of the valley. You are working, you are healing, you are renewing, even when I can't see it, even when the progress feels invisible, even when I wake up tomorrow and feel exactly the same. You are not limited by what I can perceive. You are working in the deep places, the places I can't access, the places I don't understand, the places only you can reach. I thank you that this broken season will not last forever. It feels endless right now. It has felt endless for a long time, but it has an end. The valley has a border. The wilderness has an edge. The morning will turn to dancing. The weeping may endure for a night, and some nights have felt very, very long, longer than I thought I could survive. But joy comes in the morning. The morning is coming. I don't know when. I don't know how. But it is coming, because you have promised it, and you do not break promises. Lord, I choose to trust you tonight, not with the shallow, performative trust that says the right words while the heart is still clenched tight with anxiety. Real trust, vulnerable trust, the kind of trust that opens my hands and lets go of what I've been gripping. Even though letting go is terrifying, I trust you with the outcome I can't control. I trust you with the pain I can't understand. I trust you with the future I can't predict. I trust you with the people I can't change. I trust you with the part of me that is still healing, the part that feels fragile and slow and embarrassingly behind schedule. I trust you with tomorrow and the next day and all the days after that. Not because I'm confident in my ability to trust, because you are trustworthy and you hold what I cannot hold. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. And I receive that restoration now, not because I have it all together, not because my circumstances have suddenly changed, not because the pain has magically disappeared, but because you are faithful, and you finish what you start, and the work you began in me, however long ago, however slowly it seems to be progressing, you will carry it to completion. You will not abandon the work of your hands. I am held. I am seen. I am loved. I am being restored, so I rest tonight. Not in my own ability to fix things, not in my own strength to keep going, not in my own wisdom to figure out the path forward. I rest in the shepherd, the good shepherd, the one who laid down his life for the sheep, the one who knows my name and carries me when I'm weak and will never, ever, ever let me go. Sleep in peace tonight. Your shepherd is watching over you, and he does not slumber, he does not sleep, he does not look away. You are safe. Thank you for praying with me tonight. If this prayer met you where you are, if it spoke to the grief, the weariness, the brokenness you've been carrying, the disappointment that's made hope feel dangerous, let me know in the comments. Just type, "He restores my soul." I read every comment and I would love to pray for you by name. And if you know someone who's walking through a hard season, someone who's weary and wondering if they'll ever feel whole again, someone who's grieving and thinks they should be over it by now, someone who's burned out and running on empty, share this with them. Sometimes the thing that keeps us going is simply knowing someone else is praying alongside us, even when we can't find the words ourselves. Especially then, subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next prayer. We're just getting started, and I believe with everything in me that God is going to use this space to bring healing to a lot of hurting hearts. You are part of something He is building, and I'm honored to walk this journey with you. The Lord is your shepherd. He will restore your soul. Good night. Rest well. You are deeply, completely, unconditionally loved.